Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! Today it's going to be a match between Queen and Light here on Ground Zero. It's a 2019 replay I got from RJB. You know who he is. Just search RJB StarCraft or RJB TV on YouTube. Top right corner we have the white Zerg player. It is Queen, formerly known as Zero, and in the bottom left here we have the teal Terran player, Light. And nope, no red versus blue. Again, this must have been a custom lobby other than the latter, or a 1v1 top versus bottom scenario. And let's see, yellow is a lot worse than white versus teal, so we're gonna leave it here as we usually do. All right, so Ground Zero, lava tiles set. Your natural has a lot of minerals for a natural. Let's check this out here. 1,500. That is standard. And yeah, hit that like button if you're excited for a ZVT. I cast an incredible PVT 2 days ago. Holy smokes, was it good. I don't generally like PVTs because they kind of tend to be samey. You know the Terran's going to go mech. You know the Protoss is going to go Zealot Dragoon and maybe switch into Carrier. And that's the way it goes. But, oh, wow. Let's see, who was it? It was Snow versus Last. Two very excellent players. If you didn't watch it, I encourage you to do so. And because there's only Brood War videos here now, it shouldn't be too hard to find. 12th hatch here. Hatch first here from Queen. It's a huge 4-player map, so you can kind of get away with that a little bit more than on some of the other maps. Barracks first in it and not walling off. Like, man, that is fairly gutsy here from Light, but he knows what he's doing. I'm not going to tell Light that he's bad at this game, I can tell you that much. But anyway, if you missed the news, I did convert this channel entirely to a Brood War. If you're here looking for StarCraft 2, it's on my other channel. If you just search Falcon Paladin SC2, you should be able to find it, though I'm not sure I'm totally in the YouTube algorithm at this point, but working on getting there, so that's where you should head over. But what that means is you can actually use the notification bell now. I didn't really want to encourage people to use notifications because you don't want to get notified of StarCraft 2 content if you're a Brood War fan generally. There are some weirdos like me who enjoy all kinds of StarCraft and don't discriminate, but most of you guys are hardcore Brood War fans who hate StarCraft 2, and let me tell you, the StarCraft 2 fans hate Brood War 2, so I mean, there's not a lot of love lost between your two groups, which makes me sad. Because, by golly, StarCraft is StarCraft. I was raised on this. I love StarCraft 2. It was my new love. I still love Brood War. It's like trying to pick one of my children's. It's just not happening. Like, I love my firstborn son so much, but then his brother came along, and I wasn't going to be like, the new stuff is bad, or, you know, the old stuff is bad, the new stuff is better. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's not how my brain works. So anyway, you can click the notification bell now and turn on all announcements for all the posts that I put up. If you want to do that, I mean, if you're a Falcon Paladin fan, you probably want to do that, but I don't know. I don't know how many people of you are like, I want to watch everything that Falcon does, rather than it's like every once in a while I see a Falcon cast and I'm like, that's a good matchup. Or that's a player I like, and then you'll click it. That's the thing. That's kind of the thing about doing YouTube is the content and the content provider are different things. Like, there are some YouTubers that I like, but if they do a certain thing that I'm not interested, then I won't click in it. I understand that. I get it. I'm a YouTube user as well as a YouTube content creator. Anyway, going for the machine shop here, not expanding, although that is a command center coming up inside the main base. He's just worried about early Ling pressure, which there are Lings out on the map, but they don't seem to be interested in doing much. Where are you? That's one chasing that SCV. Here's another 2, 3... Man, they really want to kill this SCV. But I don't know. Are you doing anything other than a Mutalisk timing, Queen? Is that what you're trying to tell me here? Ah, Spore coming up. That's interesting. It almost makes it look like it's a creep colony. So if the SCV come down here, there's a small chance. There's a small chance, right, that Light thinks this is just another creep. Now it's too big. So now it's too late for that. Did the SCV die? I think he got it. He got it. These Lings are free. And I'm pretty sure it worked out. I don't think this was actually scouted, but again, the implication is you're playing a TVZ against Queen, he's gonna open Mutalisks, man. He just is. There's your second gas coming up while Spire is 50% complete. Here at about 450, we're gonna have mutas. The question is, how many do we want to make? So the Vulture comes in and scouts. Yes, that's definitely a Spire. Excellent. Check the timing on that sucker. We're going to go ahead and get an engineering bay somewhere. Yep, that's an engineering bay. Armory coming up here too. And I'd say so far, so good out of both these players. It's a very paint-by-the-numbers TVZ at the moment. The question is, where's your third base going to be? We're not actually meching this. I just realized. Are we meching this? It's too early to tell. We only have one factory and one barracks. And a starport. That's a pretty fast starport. All things considered. But I guess if you're trying to get into those the science vessels sooner rather than later. Or you could just make a Valkyrie. Yeah, that doesn't even cross my mind. It happens so infrequently that I'm like, oh, right. What else can you do with the starport? Valkyrie. Wraiths, I'm like, oh, Wraiths aren't very good versus mutas unless they have cloak. And Valkyries with their splash damage. You can actually save a lot of money on missile turrets. You don't have to make 3 of them per base. You can just maybe make 2. Maybe 1 or 2 in the natural, and then make a Valkyrie. And the Valkyrie can hunt overlords and do all sorts of great stuff. So here come Das Mutalisks from Queen, coming in trying to see what is what and who they should kill and all sorts of fun stuff that way. Bunker has a couple Marines in it. Valkyrie getting some shots off. This Valkyrie micro is tricky. You can do stuff where you're attacking and then pull back, but as you're pulling back, you're firing. It makes a really weird animation when the Valkyrie's facing one way, and yet the missiles are coming out of her butt. So it's tricky to pull off. It's not easy at all, but it can be very, very good and prevent you from getting hit by those Mutalisks at all if your control is excellent, which, hey, it probably is in the case of Light. I'm worried about the entire lack of a third base from Queen. I really am. This is a pretty happy 2-basing Light right now on 32 workers. It's a 2-basing Zerg. What's your follow-up, man? He's just making mutas? He's just making mutas. He's getting Lurker aspect. So it's not like he's not doing anything with it, but okay, so he's trying to protect this third base now. 70 minutes just seems really late for trying to get a third base up. But the Vultures kind of forced the issue, didn't they? Like, the Vultures cruising around really are going to cause some problems. They did cause some problems. The Lings had no map control whatsoever. And that Vulture just keeps checking the front, sees some Hydras, recognizes there's a couple Scourge out here. The Valkyrie probably doesn't want to run around here at any good time, so there's your third base coming up from Queen, but again, it feels late. Evolution Chamber there, I'm going to assume for missile attack. Just based on the Lurker aspect, you do want your Lurkers to have attack upgrades. That, I don't know what that Vulture was doing. That was a suicide YOLO Vulture, man. Getting in there and just getting absolutely picked off. Very strange. So 5 Lurkers in production. Here are their eggs. We see them now. Some of them anyway. Gonna probably try to come up here and protect the third base while maybe putting some pressure on the Terran player. Just to make sure the third base comes up without too many interruptions. Alright. So good stuff. Hit that like button if you're enjoying this so far. I hope that you are, because it's been a lot of fun for me. I don't know. I feel lucky, right, that I'm able to cast Brood War and get a good audience here and make some money for it off YouTube. Obviously, I'm not quitting my day job anytime soon, but I've got, a pretty good following. You guys all seem like pretty pleasant individuals, you Brood War fans, and I appreciate that. Again, I read every comment anyone ever makes on the channel, so if you want to say something hurtful, just know that I will see it. And I should generally be okay. I've been on the internet since, geez, 97, 96. So for me to not understand how discourse works on the internet would be a very strange thing indeed. Hey, it's a Queen's Nest for Queen. He's not even protecting this third at all. But this way he is, right? He's got these Lurkers just completely cutting off the attack avenue out of Light's base. The mutas don't really want to engage, but you know what? They'll kind of sit around the periphery here. Kill a couple SCVs, get out of there. They don't know where the Valkyrie is, and that worries them. That's actually 2 Valks out. And the science vessel's here. Doesn't have a radiate yet. I haven't seen that come through the production tab, but I assume it's very soon. And here's your multiple barracks. And the medics, and are definitely meching it right now. So the Lurkers need to get out, because tanks destroy them in every way possible. If you have a problem with Lurkers as Terran, make a couple siege tanks, you're going to have a better time with your life. Irradiates also everything you need. The Valkyries! Ah, Scourge picked it off. Scourge picked it off. Valkyrie doesn't even have to do the micro thing. Just getting shots off and then pulling back leisurely whenever she well pleases. There's still nothing defending this ramp, and if Light makes it all the way over here, It's going to be a tough hold. That said, you know, 7 Muta's not bad. They did pick off that tank with 3 volleys of the Glaive Worm. The Lurkers are hightailing it over this way, trying to see if they can make it there before the Teal Army does. Overlord, nope, there's no high ground. Well, you can maybe get to a position where the Marines can't shoot you, at least, which counts for something. Another tank down. Because, yeah, the Lurkers can hold this as long as there aren't any siege tanks. But the tanks change the equation, which is why the Mutas are focusing those down right now. Hive on the way from Queen. We saw that Queen's Nest timing. We know what's what. There's a Radiate coming in from Queen now. Lurkers. Lurkerling. Pretty good stuff, honestly. Oh. Yeah. Okay, that was a really nice flank attack by Lurkers. That was excellent. And Light doesn't really like what he sees here. Gonna back it out just a little bit. This siege tank's got 2 kills. He wants more. He's feeling the greed, and he's feeling the need for Zergling Lurker kills. This is pretty good micro from Light. He hasn't taken a huge Lurker splash hit yet. He's definitely lost people. Like, I'm not gonna say it's been flawless, but playing against Lurker micro from Queen is not an easy thing to do. There's your Defiler Mound. That is a 11-minute Defiler Mound. I kind of like this out of Queen. I mean, we delayed the 3rd base for it, so it better be worth it. Nidus Canal for instant reinforcements from the natural. Yeah, from the natural. That's the Nidus Canal morphing. It's such a big morphing in animation. What did we irradiate? I heard unirradiate. Ah, here it is. So that Lurker's toast. It knows. It is the Lurker with the toasted most. Oh, these got irradiated too. Man. Good Terran players. Good with Irradiate. Again, if you're struggling against Lurkers and against Zerg in general as we get into the mid to the late game, your answer needs to be Science Vessels with Irradiate and a couple Siege Tanks. The rest of it can kind of take care of itself. Alright, so there's 1 Siege Tank to fire on these Lurkers up on this high ground. It's being really nicely protected by these Marines. There's really no getting in there for those Mutalisks to snipe it at all. That is some really nice setup for sure. I don't know what this SCV is trying to do other than perhaps scout. But another group of Marines coming on up. A big Lurker Ling army heading down to the south. Yeah, rough stuff. Yeah, they're just patience. He's like, I don't have to kill this 3rd base yet, but as long as I prevent this 4th base, I'm going to be okay. 2 base Terran versus a 3 basing Zerg, totally fine. Supply is basically even, which does not bode well for the long-term success of Light in this matchup. As the Lings come cruise. Oh, the Dark Swarm comes up. Run! Get out of the Dark Swarm, and they do. Light is a good Terran player. He's not going to stay under the Dark Swarm and just die. Another army heading up here, too. The Kakaru's scouting out, but they're not telling Queen what's up. Which is why you just parasite a couple of these, you know? Start parasiting Kakaru. They're decent little spies, honestly. Oh, why did the Science Vessels wander in here? I guess to irradiate this Defiler, they took some hits. Defiler came down here for scouting purposes, I guess. The Lurkers, oh man, they're going. They are moving for it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I mean, there's no Dark Swarm, but I'm not sure it actually matters. That just got absolutely crushed. The handful of Marines that remain are covering these Science Vessels because they don't want to die. Nice Irradiate on the, oh wow, that was a sick Irradiate on the Science Vessels. That meant that on the Scourge rather, from the Science Vessels, and that means these Mutas get to get out of here. Oh, these vessels get to get out, and the Muta's chasing them down. Goodbye. It's kind of a satisfying sound, Science Vessels dying. 3rd base under construction, left side here for Light. 106 to 103 total supply. Queen is up. He's even, but he's up. Because that's how Zerg works. It's a lot of Marines a long time to take down a Lurker, even if they have +2 attack. A Lurker egg, rather. Lurker is not as bad, but Lurker eggs, yes. Look at the drop. Dude, we have not seen bio drops I feel like in some time on the channel, it might have been some in that off-racing light replay that I posted last week. Okay, the response here from Queen seems ample. And everybody dies. Plague's coming in. Adrenal Glen is done on these Zerglings. They've got the good upgrades. Who's been getting the upgrades? I didn't actually check. It is the Lurkers that are getting the upgrades. Actually, no. Nobody has attack upgrades. Huh. Everyone's got +2 armor, but that's it. Nice target fire on that Defiler, man. That was some really, really good stuff. Oh, the Plague! Oh gosh. Then wandering into Lurkerville. That's not good whatsoever. Science Vessel count is getting a little Flash-esque right now. For Light. He's lost a few, but he's just been double pumping them for so long. And he's just gradually creeping through this Lurker defense of this 4th base with Science Vessels. It is really genius. And now he comes in. He knows there's no Science Vessels. What he's worried about is that. He's worried about the Dark Swarm. The Firebats are in there having a grand old time, though. They can't be attacked by anything in this range. Not that there's anything to attack from range here. Marines firing away at this hatchery. They do take down the 4th hatch. I didn't know if they'd get it that soon. Scourge taking out Science Vessels. Lings holding the ramp. If they had the +1 they're working on, I'd feel better about this engagement for these Lings. Man, but look how many Zerglings are just dying. Yes, Marines are dying too, but I think he thought that was enough to clear these dudes out. Instead, they're probably going to get the Extractor. So more of these drones are going to die, because these are 2-1 Marines, and now the numbers are just not favoring these Marines, and they are going to go out. But that's a 4-kill Marine at the end of the day. The medics are going to die there too. So 4th base down is huge, although 3rd base for Light remains happy and productive. That's the stuff. Oh, okay. Chitinous plating coming in for ultras. We are making ultralisks today. Somewhere there's an ultralisk cavern. Ah, it's down here at the 3rd. Of course it is. You have a Dark Swarm with you? This is just a Ling attack? Okay. I mean, sure. What a weird attack that is. These dudes didn't even participate. And now maybe the refinery's going to die, but... Another Plague! Ooh! On a couple of these Marines, anyway. Lings rolling into their Des. That Defiler got killed. The bunkers are so well placed. I wonder what actually killed that Defiler. Is there a siege tank up here? Maybe we got irradiated by some Science Vessel that's in the general neighborhood. Seems possible. Dude, these Science Vessels are styling. Radiates a Defiler, keeps moving. Boxer maneuver coming in. I don't know if you saw the comment on my Beast versus Larva off-racing video. Somebody's like, why do you call it the Boxer maneuver? It's on Liquipedia, it's just called the Eraser. Was there somebody named Boxer who used this method? He asks questioningly, and I was just like, oh, that hurts me. It hurts me there's someone who cares enough about Brood War to care that I'm using the correct term for something, but also has no idea who Boxer is. None. That, I mean, it's really only to be expected considering the game is 20 years old. Boxer hasn't been relevant for some time. He was like a first era Terran, man. So I get it, but jeez, like, know your history, people. Understand the history of the game that you love. That Defiler is dead. I'm trying to call this right now. What do you think? Who do you think's ahead here at 19 minutes? Make your picks. I think it's too close to call. I know that Queen has about the same, right, same supply here as Light does, which means his Zerg player's ahead, but his 4th base got killed and it just came back. And these are 3-3 Marines. Oh, and everybody who always says, you can't possibly beat a Zerg player in the late game with only with only biological units out of barracks and some science vessels. Why didn't you transition into mech? What a moron. Look, it can be done, okay? We saw Larva do it against Beast. We've seen Flash do it several times. We've seen Light pull it off before too. So just because the Terran isn't transitioning into factory play doesn't mean he's going to lose against things like Ultras and against a, you know, 3-3 crackling style army out of the Zerg. It's very scary, but you can do it as these Ultras come in with 6 armor and almost have anabolic synthesis, but they already have chitinous plating, obviously. So these Lings heading down to this... Oh, gosh, that timing... Oh, the Firebat's holding the line, though. Oh, look at these guys. Oh! All right. Firebats, though. Good unit. Good unit, Firebat. Those Zerglings stood no chance. Do they have armor? Yes. Did it matter? No. Did not. Ultralisks coming up the ramp. One of my favorite sound effects in StarCraft is the Ultralisk roar. It really is. Roar. The pathing's kind of screwed up here on these Ultras. They're not sure where to go. There you go. That's right. Just jump up on these bunkers. Excellent job, sir. Oh, he's just irradiating Ultras all over the place. This is feeling very Flash Jadong in some of the games that I've cast. I haven't cast very many of those two together. But just the Ultras getting irradiated all over the place. They're trying to kill bases. That bunker does go down. The final Ultralisk has 7 kills. Now he's turning his attention to these SCVs who are doing 1 point of damage each to it. Maybe even half a point, because that's the lowest it can go. And I think that Firebat got that Ultralisk kill. I really do. Very possible. Very possible he could have. So the good news is it's a 4-basing Terran versus a 4-basing Zerg. And those numbers are definitely going to favor the Terran. Oh, look, it's 137, 106. Yeah, man. Light. He's just pumping Marines, dude. He is, for as long as the day is, he's going to be making these barracks units. Queen's got a ton of minerals. Light's floating a ton of gas. That's generally how this works. I guess more science vessels would be cool. That's an irradiate, maybe a defensive matrix scenario. Got it. Okay, well, that one's alive, but ouch for the rest of them there. Yeah, place your bets. Like, who do you think is going to come out on top on this one? Because, I don't know. I like Ultras. They've won games before that I've cast and I've seen, and then they've looked really bad other times. They're very strange kind of hit and miss unit here. But anytime SCVs have to body block for a couple bunkers to deal with, like, 2 Ultras and a bunch of Zerglings, not good. However, this attack is pretty intense. Oh, these Ultras. Ah, the backside attack. Ultra down. Ultra down. Ultra down. Even without any siege tanks. Not bad. This base is forced to be lifted off. This Ling Ultra, this tiny little army's attacking on in. The 4th base dies again for Queen, but he does manage to sneak a top left base here. But the bottom right base is in trouble. Ah, the Ultralisk, the irradiated Ultra, hurting the Marines in 2 different ways at once. This is looking bad. I know there's a Nidus, but those Lings, Ooh, the Dark Swarm came in. Oh, the Plague. Ooh. Oh, my gosh. All over these guys. Yeah, Boxer maneuver coming up. You being burrowed will not... Does being burrowed help you against this? It does. Why did I think it didn't? It totally, absolutely does. Boxer maneuver. Burrow is the key. So he holds on to this bottom right-hand base, which is really big. If he loses this, I think the game is just over. I do. All right, so back up to 4 bases here is Light. He's managed to deal with the Zerg infestation. There wasn't much of it left when they were coming down this way, so it's understandable. It's both players under 100 supply. Just kidding. Light just racked up into 100 and 1 total supply. There are Mutalisks. I just hear a Mutalisk try to do something. Man, the fact that these Scourge are still getting connections is pretty darn impressive, I gotta say. This top left base for Queen's in a lot of trouble. He's trying to replant this 4th, but this 5th is, well, it's seen better days. It's got 3-3 Marines chomping on it, and it's not a giant army either, so I'm pretty sure Queen just missed it. You just missed them coming up here, and your base is done. This isn't even... I mean, this is 7 Marines, man, and 1 medic. They can get a lot done, it turns out. So Light... This is an example of what I was telling you earlier. You can totally beat Ling Ultra with just Marines, which seems, I mean, okay, yes, you have to have science vessels for the irradiate, and yeah, you probably want some medics, but like the fact that ultras can be pretty easily handled by tier 1 units is just interesting. I guess it's the same thing for things like siege tanks and reavers, though. Zerglings can deal with those too, depending on the numbers involved in the actual scenario. Okay, so some damage down here at the 4th, not a huge deal. This high ground, this Obi-Wan scenario here for light is fantastic. Ultra down, ultra down. The irradiates are consistent. These lings are not getting up this ramp at all. So the 4th base is back for Queen. But the 5th base is toast. And light is still on 4 bases. So, I mean, okay, it's 2 mining bases right now. Oh, 5th base. Wow, I missed that. Okay, Queen managed to take the center right side, which is brilliant. Plague! Ooh, look at the boxer maneuvering at a ramp setup here. Move up the ramp. There's some Zerglings to kill. Did they burrow? I wonder if they burrowed. It makes sense. Oh, this base is in trouble all of a sudden. These SCVs do not want to fight this at all. So they're going to run for it. That's a lift. Light pushing across the map with some units, sending others up to deal with keeping their SCVs alive. It's 37 to 41 workers, which is incredibly low here at 26 minutes. What a scrappy, scraptacular match. Plague-oo on one of the science vessels. I'm not sure that's worth a full Plague-oo, but it's not bad regardless. Replanting the 3rd base. What a desperate situation this is for Light. He's had to lift that off several times. Ah, the one Mutalisk picking off plagued science vessels. It's a fun job to have. I'm sure a lot of mutas volunteer for that service. For sure. Oh, the dark swarms. Run! I don't know what we're getting done over here, guys. There's not many of us. I guess we kill drones and die to 3 ultras. And a Mutalisk just to add injury to insult, or the other way around. But man, it's only 81 supply for Queen here at 27 minutes. It's 109 for Light. Light has an advantage. An advantage. Not a huge one, but he has an advantage. Ultralisk in production. Queen's bank is not looking healthy. Light's is not either, though. He's under 200, well, under 300 minerals now, rocketing back up there a little bit as the SCVs continue to mine from this base. Yeah, this gas income at the 5th base is massively important right now. The fact that this extractor didn't die is also a major victory here, but Queen's use of plagues and dark swarms have been really good today. Light's macro and use of irradiate has been excellent too. The Ultra is trying to get up this ramp, and there's a science vessel here, which, like, I don't know what the purpose. It's got to be to mess up targeting, would be my guess. Oh my gosh, is there a dude under there so the Ultras can't get up there because they can't target the? Is there a hold position SCV under there? Oh, that'd be crazy if there was a hold position SCV under there. Well, that's some abject chaos for you. That's probably the thumbnail. I bet that's what it is. So the Ultras can't get up this because they can't get past the SCV. They can't attack the SCV directly because they can't target it because there's an engineering bay over it. Oh, Light just got full unfettered access to the 5th base of Queen and is burning it down. Okay, that just might be it for Queen. This is not looking good. Losing the 5th base is a massive deal for him. Ultra trying to come up the ramp. It does take a while to kill him. Ooh, the Dark Swarm. Huge play. Huge clutch play coming into that Defiler. It's dead now. And the Plague, ooh, getting tossed down means this Ultralisk is going to kill this entire group. Whereas previously that Ultra was dead. That Defiler changed that Ultralisk status from dead to possibly going to kill this entire group of bio. Okay, the positioning is sick up here, though, so never mind. His friends have arrived, however. But yeah, losing this income for Queen is bad. It is the baddest of all news bears. Okay, so they're toast, but the base is dead and the drones are out, and The damage has been done. I mean, Light hasn't really tried to expand anywhere else. He's just 4 base, pumping 8 Marines at a time, getting medics, getting fire bats into the mix. 111 to 83 total supply. The income here, bad. Queen only has 2 mining bases at the moment. And if your Terran's on 2 mining bases, the numbers are not good. The numbers are not good for you at all. Okay, so here is our army. No +3 attack upgrade, actually. Are there no Scourge? Are there no Scourge available? There's a pair getting created. Can you imagine dying just from, like, straight up irradiation? This is bad. All of a sudden, it's 136 to 76 total supply. Those Ultras dying actually took a huge chunk out of Queen's total supply, and this looks like a death push now. Okay, well, the 3/3 fire bats and Marines are just kind of pushing up. Token resistance here and there. Something wrapping around the backside, though. Some Ultras there. Queen's going to try to sandwich this army and take it down, but I don't see any Defilers in the general vicinity. Scourge, no. No connections. Irradiates are too good. The right side of the sandwich is gone, which means the left side is a little bit easier to deal with here if you're not being surrounded. And Ultra down, Ultra down, Ultra down. 141 to 53, and Queen taps out. GG! And Light is your winner in 31 minutes and 30 seconds. That was a match. And see, you can do it. I don't want to see you guys ever again commenting under a game where a Terran lost because they didn't make mech versus an ultralisking Zerg player. It's impossible. I don't want to hear you say that. It's not. Look, Light just did it against Queen, who is a massively terrifying Zerg player right now. Did it. No big deal. Marines, fire bats. He made a couple tanks early. Never made any again after like the 15-minute mark. And that was fantastic. I mean, what it really came down to, as it usually does, is just base denial. Right? He's able to kind of deny this third base a little bit. Queen was, but he didn't have anything that could shoot up. He didn't make any Hydras, so couldn't kill the command centers with they were lifted. And once the army was gone or dealt with, he just landed the command center and it was back instantly. This base never died, which is fantastic. It wasn't actually expanding here, but losing the 4th base twice was a huge deal. And then just the nail, the kicker, was this 5th base going down. There was nowhere else for Queen to go. He didn't want to expand up here because generally siege tanks can be put here and really cause problems. Not that, again, not that Light was meching, but still, it's a threat. And he still has factories. It's not like he lost his factories. What the heck? Did he not have any factories? Is it floating up somewhere? Maybe he lost his factory. Never mind. Perhaps Light entirely lost his ability to make factories. But this play right here, sick. Absolutely disgusting. Lings and Ultras cannot get up this ramp because they literally can't path up the ramp because they can't attack whatever it is under this. And I gotta say it's an SCV. Just because the hold position SCV won't attack? Hard to say. Anyway, great stuff. Real good back and forth. It was kind of hard to tell who's going to win there at the 20-minute mark, but Light just pulled away. 218,000 points there for Light, 213 for Queen. Ended up producing 800 Zerg units. Lost about 700 of them. Entirely fair. Structures, yeah. I mean, losing 11 Zerg buildings is a lot of Zerg buildings to lose. Way more gas mined for Queen because he was going into the, gas-heavy Scourge, gas-heavy Ultralisks, gas-heavy Defilers. Light was really only spending money on kind of fire bats and kind of medics and mostly on science vessels. Minerals about the same. Outspent the Terran player by 8,000 resources, but when your units tab looks like this, is not as good. So great match, really fun. Hope you enjoyed it because that's going to be it for me. So, this has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.